Much of the spotlight at Auburn last year was placed on Jabari Smith Jr. That was understandable considering the type of season he had as a freshman and the fact that many projected him to be a top 3 draft pick, which he ultimately was, getting selected by the Houston Rockets 3rd overall. But the Tigers had another interesting prospect developing under Bruce Pearl, and that was Walker Kessler, a 7'1", 245-pounder known mostly for his shot blocking and overall interior defensive presence. Acquired by the Utah Jazz as part of the Rudy Gobert to Minnesota trade in the offseason, after he was chosen 22nd overall in the 2022 draft, Kessler is starting to emerge as one of the better young players from his draft class. As advertised, he is outstanding at protecting the paint. Just some interesting stats to back that up. Opponents are shooting 54.5% within 6 feet of the hoop when Kessler has defended the shot so far this season. That's nearly 11% lower than their combined season average percentage. Among players who have guarded at least 170 shots from this short distance, that's a top 5 percentage gap. Looking specifically at the 3 games he played in against the New Orleans Pelicans with Zion Williamson playing in all of them, Williamson made just 7 of his 16 shot attempts in the paint when Kessler contested the shot, according to Second Spectrum tracking data. That's just 43.7%. Just to emphasize how impressive that is, Williamson is shooting 61% this season in the paint when the shot is being contested. Kessler has terrific timing when he attempts to obstruct shots. Per 36 minutes, he's averaging 3.6 blocks. That's the most among players who have been on the floor for at least 500 minutes this season. In case you were curious, Brook Lopez, the current blocks leader, has played 978 minutes and has a per 36 block average of 3.0. It's just interesting how the Jazz for years had Gobert, and now it looks like Kessler will be one of the league's elite shot blockers for some time. It remains to be seen whether or not Kessler will be able to defend in space on an island at least somewhat effectively in the pros. He's certainly not the quickest laterally, but he does seem to have good awareness of his opponent's strengths. He'll sag back if the opponent isn't much of a shooter, or hug the line a little bit if the opponent lacks great speed. He's not super mobile, but it just seems like his effort level and high basketball IQ makes up for some of his deficiencies. When guarding in isolation so far this season, opponents have made 7 of the 15 shots taken, so just a little over 50%. These possessions really highlight what Kessler is capable of when he's locked in. Terrific defensive positioning against Joel Embiid and Russell Westbrook, and then when playing Houston, he clearly knew what Jabari was capable of and played him perfectly. Offensively, while limited, Kessler has been one of the most efficient players in the league. All 129 of his shot attempts through 33 games have come in the paint, and he's made 74.4% of them. Among all players with at least 120 shots in the paint, that's the second best percentage. Only Daniel Gafford is higher at 75.5%. Nick Claxton, Mitchell Robinson, and Bol Bol are just behind Kessler in this category. A few things really pop out at me about his offensive game. For one, he has excellent hands. Many of the catches he gets off rolls, lobs, or when he's just hanging around the dunker spot have been a little off target, and he's managed to just snatch the ball and go straight up for easy baskets. Another thing that's glaring is how comfortable he is running the floor. 19 of his 96 made baskets have come in transition. That helps the Jazz play with a little bit more pace. Also, he's very good on the offensive glass. He has a nose for the ball. Again, per 36 minutes, he's averaging 4.7 offensive boards, which ranks 6th amongst players who have totaled at least 600 minutes so far. Nobody expects him to ever be a big scorer, a play creator, or someone who can orchestrate, but I do think he'll do a lot of the dirty work and be effective playing off guys who do create and coordinate the offense. He has yet to take a three-pointer. He He did take 50 of them last year at Auburn. He'll probably eventually start to extend his range, but it's unlikely that he will ever really be a stretch 5. He has struggled at the free throw line so far, just 55% on 60 attempts. So that'll wrap up this video. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. I will continue to do more player analysis features throughout the season.